Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishnu Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Upagadam Vedati Vedantita Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Gaura Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakapaturvyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Hare Krishna. What verse are we reading?
9.4.65.
9.4.65. The chapter is entitled Ambarish Maharaj Offended by Devasa Muni. This is 9th canto of Bhagavatam, famous pastime in the Bhagavatam of Maharaj Ambarish. And we are, I don't know where we're reading from exactly, but here we're at 65, we'll see in a minute. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Oh yes, we can see this is the Lord speaking. And he's speaking to Devasa Muni. This is one of the most significant speeches of the Lord. Every word is significant, but this is one of the ones which are very famous, and perhaps tomorrow, I don't know what day it is.
68 is the big one.
Pardon? 68 is the big one, yeah. That's in universally famous verse. Text 68. But today we're on 65. They're all very significant. For those who have not been here, including myself, of course, we'll hear about that in a minute. So kindly repeat. And I presume it's on the screen.
Yeah.
Is it readable?
Yes.
So kindly repeat. Yay!
Yay!
Daragara!
Daragara!
Utrapta!
Utrapta!
Pranan!
Pranan!
Vitam!
Vitam!
Imang!
Imang!
Param!
Param!
Hitva!
Hitva!
Mang!
Mang!
Sharanang!
Sharanang!
Yakaha!
Yakaha!
Katang!
Katang!
Tang!
Tang!
Chaktum!
Chaktum!
Utsahe!
Utsahe!
Ye Daragara Putrapta!
Ye Daragara Putrapta!
Pranan Vitam Imang Param!
Pranan Vitam Param!
Itvamang Sharanam Yataha!
Ityamam Saranam Yataha!
Katang Tang Chaktum Sahe!
Katang Tang Chaktum Sahe!
Ye Daragara Putrapta!
Ye Daragara Putrapta!
Pranan Vitam Imang Param!
Pranan Vitam Param!
Itvamang Sharanam Yata!
Ityamam Saranam Yataha!
Katang Tang Chaktum Sahe!
Katang Tang Chaktum Sahe!
Ye Daragara Putrapta!
Ye Daragara Putrapta!
Pranan Vitam Imang Param!
Pranan Vitam Param!
Itvamang Sharanam Yataha!
Ityamam Saranam Yataha!
Katang Tang Chaktum Utsahe!
Katang Tang Chaktum Sahe!
Ye Daragara Putrapta!
Ye Daragara Putrapta! Janananda Imam Param
Janananda Imam Param
Ramam Saranam Yataha
Ramam Saranam Yataha
Katam Tam Straktum Utsahe
Katam Tam Straktum Utsahe
Dada Puchapta
Yedanagar Putrapta
Anandita Imam Param
Anandita Imam Param
Ramam Saranam Yataha
Ramam Saranam Yataha
Katam Tam Strakta Utsahe
Katam Tam Utsahe
Yedaragara Pruptapta
Yedanagar Putrapta
Ranam Vitamimam Param
Anandita Imam Param
Ramam Saranam Yataha
Ramam Saranam Yataha
Katam Tam Straktum Utsahe
Katam Tam Utsahe. Ladies.
Yedaragara putrapta
Yedaragara Putrapta
Parananvitamimam param
Parananvitamimam Param
Tvamam sharanam yataha
Ramam Saranam Yataha
Katham tam syaktumutsahe
Katam Tam Straktum Utsahe. Yea,
Yea,
those devotees of mine who Dara, wife, Agara, house, Putra, children, sons, Apta, relative society, Pranan, even life, Vitam, wealth, Imam, all these, Param, elevation to the heavenly planets, all becoming one, by merging into Brahman, Hitva, giving up all these ambitions and paraphernalia, Mam, unto me, Sharanam, shelter, Yataha, having taken, Katam, how, Tan, such persons, Jaktum, to give them up, Utsahe, I can be enthusiastic. In that way, it is not possible. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. And the Supreme Lord is speaking. I'll just read the translation for the previous 2 or 3 verses. When Krishna speaks in text 63, after the appeal of Durvasa Muni, please save me from your chakra, your Sudarshan chakra. He went everywhere to get relief. And eventually Durvasa comes to Lord Narayan himself, the possessor of the chakra. And he's asking him, please, please save me, I surrender. And Krishna says, or Lord Narayan says to the Brahmin, I am completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I am not at all independent. We talk about the Lord being a biggest Sarata, completely independent, huh? But here he says, I'm not at all independent. I'm completely controlled by my devotees. Interesting. That's his choice. Because my devotees are completely devoid. Here's an important qualification to this statement. Because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires, I sit only within the core of their hearts. He's in everything, you could say, but the awareness or his manifestation or his, taking care, you could say. What to speak of my devotee, this is a very important line. What to speak of my devotee even those who are devotees of my devotee are very dear to me. And actually, well, we don't think we're a devotee. That's a pretty high address. Yes, Prabhu, I'm a devotee. Prabhupada said, no, we're trying to become servants of devotees. Servants. Next verse, the Lord says to Devasa, O best of the Brahmins, without saintly persons, for whom I am the only destination, I do not desire to enjoy my transcendental bliss and my supreme opulences. Even an ordinary person sometimes, he may have a lot of opulences. Even Arjuna was speaking like that, huh? Even if I win, what's the point? How will I enjoy? All my relatives will be dead. They'll be gone. What's the point? Isn't it? He was seeing like that. And so the loss comes from Krishna. There's no meaning to his Ananda without his devotees. How can you enjoy? A man may be very rich, but if he comes home, a horrible situation you could say, and he finds all of his family are dead, will he enjoy his opulence? Probably not. Almost certainly not. To hell with it all. What's the use of it all? There's no value when it comes down to the bottom line. There's no value. All of our wealth, all of our name and fame and whatever we've got, so-called beauty or something, strength. Useless! Of course, the other factor, time takes it away also anyway, but when those who we like to enjoy with are all gone, the person feels, it doesn't matter if they're a billionaire or the President of the United States, they feel devastated. Devastated. So today's verse, text 65, since pure devotees give up their homes, wives, children, relatives, riches, and even their lives, simply to serve me, without any desire for material improvement in this life or in the next, how can I give up such devotees at any time? So Prabhupada writes in the purport here, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipped by the words Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. Thus he is the well-wisher of the Brahmins. Devasa Muni was certainly a very great Brahmana, but because he was a non-devotee, he could not sacrifice everything in devotional service. Oh, Hari Bol. He came at the right time. Great mystic yogis are actually self-interested. Isn't it? It's easy to understand. They may chant Hare Krishna or read Shastras and perform austerities, meditate. But it's not so much what you do, but the intention or the objective of what we do. This is what endears one more to Krishna than just what we do. If we do many things, maybe you're distributing books, worshipping the deities, and you may be thinking, I hope that in the morning they emphasize my name when they read out the book scores. When Revatinandam Prabhu, or whoever it is, reads the scores, make sure everyone goes Jai when they read my name. That, whoever it is, Krishna, whoever it is, Krishna Kripa Prabhu. Yesterday on Harinam Sankirtan, Distributed how many? I didn't even
4
see.
magazines.
I didn't see the scores.
I lost my phone and I forgot to tell Prabhu.
Oh, this is disaster. Your day is finished. Your name was not glorified. Krishna Kripa, 4 magazines. Wow. See, you got the biggest roar. Everyone else was just nobody even.
Oh, Immerse.
Now you're satisfied. Oh, Prabhu, that was amazing preparation. You cooked, fantastic. No, Prabhu. I'm just useless. I'm fallen. I'm the lowest of the low. I don't know anything. It's all your mercy. But keep praising me, please. Whatever service, it can have that attitude to it. Deity worship, management. Don't get so much from the manager's point of view, by the way. Sometimes, but especially in this age which we're in, it's mostly negative, isn't it? You know, you've been through it. You were the present here for years. You're still alive. School of hard knocks, they call it. All to bring us to this point. Actually, the right motivation. They're not giving up their homes and what have you to get recognized. How renounced am I? Look how renounced I am. Prabhupada goes on. Great mystic yogas are actually self-interested. They want some material power. No, they're not just recognition, but they want control. They want powers. Like you are famous Hiranyakashipu. He wanted powers. He was also a mystic yogi in many ways. I mean, look at the austerities he underwent. Goodness. The proof is that when Durvasa Muni created a demon, fiery demon, to kill Maharaj Ambarish, the king stayed fixed in his place, praying to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and depending solely and wholly on him. He wasn't even praying, save me, Lord. He was Tenu Kampam Susamikshamanam Bhujana Evatmikitavi Paku. He wasn't asking, Krishna, save me from the fiery demon. He wasn't saying that. It was simply, my Lord, whatever mercy you bestow upon me, I totally depend upon you. You do as you wish with me. I deserve this punishment. I'm an offender. He wasn't thinking, this rascal has sent this demon. Kill him, Krishna, kill him. We may think like that sometimes, huh?
Yeah.
We may say one thing and think another. I have killed my enemy, and he's also my enemy, and soon I will kill him. I will perform good works so I get praised. I will do charity. I will chant Hare Krishna. I will be a good boy. And everyone say, oh, you're such a good devotee. You should take sannyas. You should become a guru at GBC. You are the greatest. I know I'm the greatest. At last, somebody has got some intelligence to recognize me. Sometimes not always, of course. Elements of that mentality enter consciousness, and sometimes they actually influence us too much. So the actual measuring rod of a devotee is this verse spoken by Lord Brahma. Prabhupada says this is the guide, this verse is the guide for all devotees in our Krishna consciousness movement. 10.14.8. Spoken by Lord Brahma. Listen to prayers. Yes. Whereas when Devasa Muni was chased by the Sudarshan Chakra, by the supreme will of the Lord, he was so perturbed that he fled all over the world and tried to take shelter in every nook and corner of the universe. At last, in fear of his life, he approached Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was so interested in his own body that he wanted to kill the body of a Vaishnava. Just because he felt offended, and that's what's going on in the world today. People are willing to kill people just over, some mental or bodily of what they perceive as, anyway, an offense. You disturbed me. You got in the way of my sense gratification. I'm going to kill you. This goes on in the world regularly. Wars are fought on this principle. Prabhupada says, Mr. Hitler said, my form of sense gratification is the best, and Mr. Churchill said, no, it's not, mine is. And they fought to the death. Over whose form of sense gratification is the best. I mean, let's face it, the whole political world, pretty much everything's based on that, isn't it? People fight over sport, They fight over everything. Get in their own way. A load of rubbish, but they still have to get their own way. Speculation. Fight over anything they can, like little kids. Spoil. That's my dirt. That's my dirt. Give me my dirt. No, it's not. It's mine. It's mine. Okay, you can have it. Here they got you. Therefore, he did not have very good intelligence. Cover their intelligence completely blurred. Those were too much attached to this sense gratification. What's that verse in the Bhagavad Gita? Come on, Krishna Kripa, you're a scholar. Those who are too much attached to the
Bhogaishvaya Prasaktanam.
Bhogaishvaya Prasaktanam. They have to eat the Chetasam. Yes. What happens if you're too attached to this? These are subtle sense gratification. It's worse than the gross one in many ways. What happens if you're too attached?
The desire to do devotional service does not manifest.
The resolute determination, particularly, it's not there. When you see a lack of determination, you can understand it's always mixed with some form of bhogam, Ishvarya, some desire to get something out of devotional service other than the pleasure of Krishna. There's a desire for something else. Now your desire may be, or our desire may be very strong, so we can be sometimes quite determined, but ultimately what is determination? It never ends. In devotional service, real determination is eternal. And it's not based upon any kind of material. That's why devotional service is said to be causeless. Causeless. It doesn't have any material cause. It may appear to, or people may interpret it like that, but it doesn't. Devotional service is the eternal, constitutional nature of the spiritual realm. It's not an activity, but it's the very attitude, the consciousness that we exist for the pleasure of Krishna. So he's talking about these type of devotees, not show bottle devotees or mixed devotees. They're also dear. They're serving such persons, as we just heard in yesterday's verse or whatever it was just now. So these devotees are, and even in our own lives, when somebody, if we're half of a human, if somebody gives up everything, I just want to serve you, I just want to please you, how do you feel? Whatever I have is yours. You feel strange. Is that what you said?
Amazed.
Oh, amazed. Maybe the first thing you do, are they real? They trying to get something out of me? They want some favor? What are they up to here? That may be our first reaction. Depends on the situation. If it's a reality, you feel, well, you may feel amazed, but you'll also feel, what will you feel? Flattered?
Feel flattered.
You may feel flattered, but, you know, let's get on.
Endeavored.
What about relationship? How do you feel? That's all me. You know, amazed, flattered. What about the what did it do to the relationship?
You consider them an intimate to somebody who's dear to you.
You may feel them very intimate. What else? You'll give them protection. You'll feel indebted. You'll feel
say nice things about.
Huh?
You'll say nice things about.
There's been so many things.
Recommend them, and
maybe for the right reason or not, but you'll probably say right reasons about them. Good thing. But you'll feel your heart. You know, you give your heart, isn't it? You give your heart to somebody who surrenders like that, if they're genuine. But sometimes we're let down. But the principle, you give your heart. Do anything for them. You know, it's like supposed to be like that with a man and his wife, isn't it? Husband and his wife. If the wife surrenders to the husband will do anything to protect the wife. He'll give up his life to protect his wife. Because the wife is giving everything. Suppose, I mean, of course, we know that that's not always the case, but that's supposed to be the principle at least. If they surrender, Krishna gives shelter to his surrendered devotees. That shelter may not always be what we envision it from the mundane platform. So, that's quick. From the mundane platform, we may think the shelter is to protect the body. That wasn't what Ambarish was saying. He wasn't worried about that. He wasn't worried. It's another kind of shelter. What type of shelter is it that Krishna gives? Pardon?
He protects devotion.
He may protect your devotion, we hope so. He gives us the protection there so that we can continue to practice devotional service even in difficult situations. We won't forget the principle.
From the modes of material, the onslaughts of the material energy.
Okay, that's another practical aspect of it, isn't it? He protects us from and that's a very deep subject, of course, from the onslaughts of the material energy. Maybe Maya directly. He protects us from those. Material energy is very strong, and it's not just things which we see, but as we've already heard a little bit, the attitude, the wrong attitude, the egotistic attitude, and so on. Yes, somebody else, Rebecca, you had it?
Says Masuchaha. If you take shelter of me, there will be no worry, no fear.
No fear, very good. He protects us, abhayam, one becomes fearless. He protects us from fear. Fear is the all-pervading, unavoidable, let's say. Are we okay? Jeevan, you need something? Very busy. Everyone, even the topmost planet in the universe, everyone is affected by fear. And Krishna protects his devotees from fear. I have no doubt. If you surrender unto me, sarvadharma pritya, mamikam sharanam vrajam. Moksha an. Did it go last time? Yeah. Those who surrender unto me, there's no more need to fear. You give up everything. Take shelter. Fear. That's really a big one. Protecting. I remember one time there was a television program in London, and it was a kind of funny program. And we didn't speak. About 6 of us went. There were hundreds of people there. It was a panel, a panel of atheists challenging religion. They were like doctors and scientists. I don't know if they laid it on. I really don't know. I was just invited. I wasn't part of the actual scene. And just to be there. And there were hundreds of people in this film. It was been on television. And they were challenging Christians, and mostly Christians, about their faith. And there was one lady, she came in a wheelchair. She had terminal cancer. Christian. So I don't know how, I don't know what went, but it was interesting. The doctors are saying, now what is your Jesus doing for you? Look at you. You're in a hopeless situation. You're going to die soon. You know, it's the same philosophy the Russians during communists, it's so Prabhupada says, had this philosophy. Yeah? Where's your, you're praying to God, but where's your bread? Where's your bread? Those rascal, the rascals took it all and locked it up. So, And where you pray to us, we'll give you bread. So then, they say, okay, we pray to you. And then they open the doors, The father said, where does the rascal get the bread from in the first place? Thief. Comes from Krishna. So it's the same kind of mentality. So they would challenge her like this, you pray to us, or you come to us, we might be able to cure you. What's your God doing? See, he's protecting me, she said. It was nice to hear it. Christian lady. She said, he's protecting me. What type of protection is your God giving you? You're dying. You've got cancer, terminal cancer. How is he protecting you? She said, in my heart, I have no fear whatsoever.
Wow.
I'm thinking of Jesus. I'm not at all afraid. That's protection. It's not a monopoly. It's a relationship. Those who take shelter. It's not some kind of mechanical framework that you take shelter on. That's just to facilitate our taking shelter of Krishna. If it doesn't do that, the framework is not much use. Is it? What's the use of a house with nothing there? Looks like it. There's no substance there. The whole purpose of this movement is based on that principle, actually. This is, you could say, it's had a lot of prophets there. It may not be fully blossomed prayer, but why else are we giving up everything in the service of the Lord? Is it for name and fame? Is that AI giving the answer? You don't need to think nowadays, you just have to know which buttons to press to get the answer. Isn't it? This artificial Haribol, artificial intelligence, isn't it? I'm sure some of you are familiar with this. Everything's there. You can ask any question you like. I asked a question one time. Years, I never heard of it. One devote said, but this is new technology, Maharaj. Would you like to ask a question? It can answer any question, he said. I said, no. What is this? He said, just ask a question, you'll find it. I said, okay, what is my eternal constitutional position in the spiritual world? Popped it in. Answer came back. For this, you have to approach a self-realized spiritual master. Not bad, huh? Not a bad answer. Huh? What do you need a guru for anymore? Just everything's there. Plus, he's telling you to go to one. You have to ask, what's the guru? I guess that's the next. Tell you everything. Pretty far out, huh? Maybe there's something. It's not able to do. It's not able to give up everything. It's not able to give up its life, its riches, and all of its so-called wealth and family members to the service of the Lord. Can't do. They say to do, can't. That's why Papa goes on. Therefore, he did not have very good intelligence. And how can an unintelligent person be delivered by the Suit? What is an intelligent person? He was intelligent. Any verse in the Bhagavad Gita anyone can think of? We know those.
I just know the Bhagavatam verse.
Which one's that?
Krishna
Ah! Was that 12th canto or 11th canto?
11:5:52.
11.5.52. Who's that? Carabhajana speaking? Who is it?
Yeah.
speaking?
March.
Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishna. As an intelligent person, particularly in this age of Kali, he said, intelligent persons in the age of Kali, what do? They worship the Lord by Yogya Sankirtanam prayer, by performance of Sankirtan Yoga. In the Bhagavad Gita, what's that verse in the... Well, that's a nice one, isn't it? That Krishna gives the intelligence or the guidance by which we can come. But there's another verse, what's it? Second chapter, isn't it? Maybe we mentioned it already, I can't remember. Oh boy. When you have a couple of hours sleep and you get up late, it's not easy to remember things. Bhagavad Gita, please. Ah, yeah. What does Krishna say to Arjuna?
Intelligence is fixed for one worshipman.
Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. They have one aim. Okay,
It's okay.
I think we've got it already.
They did it again.
More or
Sometimes
less.
they always give you one. So, yes.
Their aim is one, and that's the secret. We have one goal. We don't have this. But those who are irresolute, intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branch. They're not just interested in the one thing. The devotee is only interested in, of course that includes pleasing devotees, but it's to please Krishna. That's his one interest. No interest in his own, whatever it may be. In the beginning stage, we're interested in getting married, we're interested in getting a job, we're interested in getting a position, we're interested in feeling good, we're interested in so many things. Getting relief of karma, we're interested in so many secondary things. But pure devotional service is not interested in these things. They come or they don't come. It's not a big thing. The devotee's only interest is pleasing Krishna. So therefore, Maharaj Ambarish is actually, when we hear about the ninefold process of the devotional service, isn't it? Ambarish is very special, isn't he? Where does he fit into those ninefold processes? Who knows? Maybe it's in this chapter. I don't know where it comes in. Yes, Krishna Peter.
He does practically all of them.
Savaimana Krishna Padada Vindaya Vachanti Vaikunta Gunana. He perfected all 9 processes. He was totally 24/7, we say nowadays. Absorbed. Everything he did was for the pleasure of the Lord. Even he was performing what would normally be karma kandya. But why was he doing it? To help people become Krishna conscious. To teach them, they're going to do it anyway. To teach them how to do it in a way which is most pleasing to Krishna or will lead to devotional service. Everything he did was with Dharma. He never did anything of his selfish intent. Only for Krishna. This is pure, ananya bhakti. It is devoid, anyabilasatashanya jnana karmajanavikam. It is without any of these other motivations. No desire for elevation to heaven. No desire for freedom from karma. Give me a house, give me a wife, give me a whatever else it is you want. None of these motivations. We may be neophytes, we may have to go through all those things, but ultimately, pure devotional service is devoid of all these desires. Totally devoid. Freed of the desire for liberation even. The speak of material returns, even liberation. None of these things. Or mystic powers, as Prabhupada mentions. When we finish off the purport, the Lord certainly tries to give all protection to his devotees who have given up everything. As they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So a devotee who surrenders everything, Krishna gives everything. It's reciprocal. Materially would also to some extent disappears. This is there also. It's not absolute, but it's relatively there. Another point in this verse is that attachment to Dara Gara Putrapta. Nice word. Dara Gara Putrapta. Home, wife, children, friendship, society, and love is not the way to achieve the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, most people are very entrapped like this. And some people think this is actually service to God. It can be, but not in of itself. Nothing is service to God in of itself. It depends upon the attitude, the heart. Krishna doesn't accept the food as Prabhupada is, isn't it? As Rebecca just mentioned, Bhagavatam Priti Purvakam. Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. The last line? It's the Priti Purvakam that Krishna accepts, isn't it? The loving affection, the loving mood. Not the food, the mood. When he's talking with Bob Cohen, Brahmatirtha Prabhu, he's asking, Krishna's not interested in our fancy food. You may be a very good cook. You may be very good at something. But he's looking, he relishes the devotion, the love. That's what he relishes. He doesn't need our samosas or our gulab jamuns, whatever you like cooking. You may be expert cook. That's all right. You can use it for Krishna. Krishna's looking for the love, That's what he loves. And that's what every living entity is looking for. Even in this world, when there's an element of that, in the form of sacrificing everything, then we naturally we feel reciprocal. One who is attached to hearth and home, kind of terminology of family, home, and all that, for material pleasure, cannot become a pure devotee. You could be, engaged. You could be somewhere on the path. You can't become a pure devotee as long as there's attachments to them. And again, that can't be artificial. I heard this morning that if we have attachments to their family, we can't be a pure devotee. I want to be a pure devotee. I'm leaving you now. You may not leave your bank card though, or your bank account, or whatever else you think is mine. It's not so much leaving things, it's leaving the mentality that these things are mine. This belongs to me. Nothing belongs to us, so how can we give it up? How can you give up something that's not mine in the first place? Is it possible? You can say that. People may think like that, but that's not true. Nothing belongs, even our body doesn't belong to us. I'm going to give up my body, but Janananda Goswami wanted to give up his body. It wasn't his body to give up. My body is meant to be used for my pleasure, not yours. I have many things to do for you. It's an instrument. Everybody understands that. The mind is also an instrument. So attached to things. It takes time. Take time. And the School of Hard Knocks, one of the aspects of that. But it still takes time, there's no doubt. The chanting of the holy name, the attentive hearing of the sound of the holy name. Submission, we don't like to submit to sometimes things that have to use your common sense. One who is attached to that one Sometimes a pure devotee may have a habit or attraction for wife, children, and home, but at the same time he wants to serve the Supreme Lord to the best of his ability. For such a devotee, the Lord makes a special arrangement. Ooh. Famous verses, aren't they? Yes, yes. What's that verse that Prabhupada quotes? From the 10th canto.
It's
Yasyahamani Grinami.
It's 1088.
10, but look it up and you can read it. Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada was in a situation of, showing this. I mean, he had business, he had family, and then pretty much everything it would go well, then it would collapse, Take Krishna, like Krishna was taken away, and then Prabhupada realized, I don't know what he realized, but he referred to this verse in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, chapter 88, isn't it?
Yeah, 88.
Read it.
It actually begins Sri Bhagavan Vatsa.
There you go.
Yasya manugrahami harishe tadanam shanai tato danam tajatyasya svajana dukkha dukhitam. Personality God had said, if I especially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. Then the relatives and friends of such a poverty-stricken man abandon him. In this way, he suffers one distress after another.
This is the result of devotional service. This is what you get. Are you sure you made the right decision? You will lose all your wealth. Your family members will reject you. Oh no, we may not be quite ready. Krishna reciprocates accordingly. He doesn't, I remember one man, he came to the temple in London a long time ago.
I know that story.
Huh? You got that story?
I remember that story.
Oh, I told it before.
But they haven't heard.
They may not. Huh? Maybe you have. Anyway, he was kind of very enthusiastic. He was a kind of a well-to-do person in many ways. He had a decent job and had a family and a house. Those type of things that devotees don't usually have. But the people around us may have houses. And so he became kind of quite enthusiastic about devotional service. And, he was thinking, I should pray, to surrender or something like this, surrender to Krishna. And, not long after that, slowly he lost his job, his wife ran away, and he didn't have any money, he lost his house, he lost his car, he was depressed, he lost everything, practically from the material point of view. He didn't come to the temple. Then many years later, he came to the temple. Oh, I wonder what he told. Oh, I haven't seen you for so many years. Where have you been? And he told the story. And then the devotee explained. Oh, maybe a little lesson to learn there. Maybe you weren't quite ready, but when you pray like that, sometimes you've got to be careful what you pray. Please take away all of my material attachments. Please take away anything which is unfavorable for pure devotional service. I just want to be a completely surrendered soul depending on you. But then when it happens, it may not be quite what you expected. You don't realize the extent of our attachments, It's amazing, huh?
Did you become a devotee?
I'm not sure. I was not in England. This was in Soho with telling me this story. I think so, but I'm not sure. There are thousands of devotees out there, all over the place. They may not be living in a temple, but there's so many devotees now. All over the place. Yeah, it's not so easy. It's not so much giving up the things even, is there the subtle dependence upon them. Depending upon. We don't realize how much we're depending upon things sometimes. Or upon facilities, circumstances, all the subtle, interactions. How much we're depending on it sometimes. It's quite deeper than we expect. Oftentimes when, especially a man, thinks about giving it all up, and he realizes, Prabhupada talks about that many times, men give up everything, go to Vrindavan, and then start all over again with another one. A girlfriend, and then they get it's not so easy. Sometimes, sometimes. But then for such a devotee, the Lord makes a special arrangement to take away the objects of his false attachment and thus free him from attachment to wife, home, children, friends, and so on. This is special mercy bestowed upon the devotee to bring him back home, back to Godhead. Don't worry, the time is not right yet. Don't worry, not the right time yet. Start thinking like that quite yet. But we should know primarily what is our duty, what is the objective of our life. So if you have grihastha life, you have to know what the duty is in grihastha life. To please Krishna. But ultimately, everybody knows that. And in terms of, you could say, the relationship, normally it's the husband who has the prime responsibility here to ultimately, the way in Vedic society, at least amongst the intelligent members of society, the husband would go away at a certain point of time, but the wife would go with him. They would go together and focus on that one point in devotion to Krishna. Become free of all the attachments. There's a system. That's one of the systems Krishna has given Chaturvanya system to facilitate this, not just artificial renunciation, but genuine. Learning how, the main point is to learn that nothing belongs to me. That everything should be done in the way Krishna would like it done. Everything should be done. It doesn't matter what ashram you're in, principle is the same. There's so many examples, stories you can go on and on. We won't go on and on. I hope we imbibe some ideas here that might help us to, in a healthy way, to make some kind of endeavor to progress. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. I hope it didn't bump you off. I did probably bump you off the class schedule this morning. I assume that you were destined, well, not destined, you were designated to give class this morning. No? Okay. No, I thought maybe I bumped you off. I do that all the time. I don't care less, I just bump people off. Wherever and whenever I can. People.
Yes, Maharaj. Maharaj, just add that, that we just discussed when Krishna very merciful towards someone, he take away everything like house, wife, wealth.
You haven't got one, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I just want to know. We are seeing that so many devotees came in ISKCON and they're really getting increased the wealth and everything.
They increase what?
The wealth, money and everything.
They're after money.
Yes.
They're increasing the money.
Yes,
Really? Where are they? Show me them. I'll talk to them. We'll help them to become freed of that. Temple needs a few 100 million. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
actually, if they're increasing their money and oil, what is their position? Is they on the right path or not?
That depends. There's a story of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira, of course, he takes the role, a certain role in Krishna Lila in this, this particular instance. Krishna asked him, ask me anything you want. He said, please give me much wealth. What is this? You're my devotee, why are you asking for wealth? He said, because I want to show the world that it's not just because you haven't got any wealth, you're a devotee of Krishna. Anyone, rich, poor, anyone can be a devotee of Krishna. I want to show that even if you're very wealthy, you can still be a pure devotee, you can still worship my Lord. Because many people have a wrong understanding here. It's not so much about what you've got, but again, it's the attitude. Look, we discussed a few days ago Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu's appearance day, and we discussed the pastime of his initiation. And who did he take initiation from? Pundarik Vijayanidhi. Pundarik Vijayanidhi didn't look like a very renounced person, to say the least. Did he? He looked like a a really good sense gratifying. Opulence, wealth, worship, everything was at his beck and call. And he was looked very attached, decorating his face and grooming his hair and so on. Sometimes pure devotees cover for various reasons. They cover their heart. Heart's not covered. They kind of hide themselves and sometimes like that. And also to show that you can't recognize a pure devotee just by externals. Sometimes people have the idea that, saintly person is like he dresses niggardly, as they say, very niggardly. He's got long hair and a beard, and he's very austere and, like this, skinny. That doesn't mean so. It depends on what actually where the heart lies. You may, by Krishna's grace, he may give great opulence. And he may give to a devotee great opulence, because that devotee is not going to misuse it. He's not going to do something which will cause that devotee to actually, he may do it if you have to go through that lesson, but generally he doesn't. It's going to disturb your devotional opportunity. But sometimes he may give great wealth to a devotee, either as a test or because you need to go through that experience of this is not where it's at, or because that devotee is actually very advanced. We use that nicely in Krishna's service. Sometimes he does. But the hankering for great wealth, the hankering for opulent facilities, it does depend on the attitude, but in most cases it's not completely pure. It often has a rather self-centered motivation. So it's usually mixed, at least in our stage. There are obviously different scenarios where it may be a pure devotee like with this dear maharaj, but that's maybe some sentiments like that. But it's usually mixed with other things too. You're attached to that also. You're attached to opulence. You're attached to being known as driving your, Porsche car to the temple. Oh, it's not mine. Everything belongs to Krishna. Thank you, Krishna, for this. We've got a nice house in Sarcelles or something. This opulent suburb of Paris. You're advertising it to everyone. I have a one-room apartment in Sarcelles. Subtle, very subtle. We shouldn't hanker. We should hanker for whatever is pleasing to Krishna. We may have a conditioning, you may have your talents, so you may want to do that specifically for Krishna. Problem is, a lot of devotees try to imitate. Imitation is imitate. Paul says imitation of a good thing is not bad, but you have to understand, is it a good thing? It's not easy said, it's easier said than done. What is a good devotee? Last night we were reading about Prabhupada said a good devotee, not just a devotee, a good one. So what is actually good is another thing. Children don't usually know what is good for them. Hare Krishna. So imitation sometimes. Someone else makes a lot of money, by doing business, and you try to do business and you make no money. You lose whatever you've got. Or you struggle like an ass, working day and night just to make enough to survive. Maybe that's your providential situation. The person should, it's also Krishna's plan, know a little bit about what is actually the right thing for me to do with my psychophysical machine, body and mind, to please Krishna. And you'll be happier. Even if it's simple, this is a very nice story of one tailor. I forgot his name given to him. But this tailor was a very expert tailor. You know what a tailor is? It's so cloth. Super leaker or something. But some another, it wasn't his thing. It was his thing. He loved doing it. But nobody was buying his cloth hardly, just enough to survive. Even though, it wasn't just false pride only, but he was actually expert. And you get this sometimes. I've met people, they're so good, but they just aren't meant to make it, Someone else who's really not very good makes the grade, and they're really world famous or something. So he's one of those kind of persons. It wasn't his, whatever you call it, karma, to do that. So, but he was attached, really attached, and he wanted to prove to everyone that he was the best tailor. So the first thing you usually do is you blame the people around you or the place you're in. This place is lousy. You get that when you go on Sankirtan. This is a useless place. These people are useless. I'm going somewhere else. Okay, usually common sense. But so he decided. His wife said, "No, we're surviving. Krishna's providing." She was a devotee. Krishna's providing. We're okay. We don't have to work like this. We're getting what we need. But he was insistent. He went off to another town. Somalika. He went off to another city. He said, "I'm going to prove it to everyone." And he went there, and 1 year he stayed there, and he made a fortune. He was right. His cloth was like, people were queuing up for miles to get his cloth. He made a fortune. They said, "Now we're going to go back and, show everyone, teach them a lesson, And so he went back to his hometown some miles away. On the way, he got tired. So he laid down just to rest for a little while before proceeding. He had all his wealth in big trunks, caskets. Maybe he had a bullock cart or something. He had all his wealth there. He took a little rest. Then once he was dozing off, suddenly two ghastly-looking people appeared in his dream. One said to the other, I can't remember which way around it was, to be honest. One said to the other, "Karma, why have you given him so much wealth when it's not his providence to be a rich man?" "Well," Karma said, "he worked so hard I had to reward him. But now it's up to you what happens." And he knew what was going on. He woke up from the dream. What does this all mean? What's this all about? Ugly looking, fierce looking people. What does this mean? And naturally, the first thing, have you ever had that? Sometimes you think that someone's pinched your wallet in the middle of the night. You immediately go and check and see if it's still there, if the money is still there. He immediately went to the caskets, opened them up. Oh my God, there's nothing left. It's all gone. Oh no. He was shattered. I can't go back to my hometown like this. I'll be a laughing stock for the rest of my life. Disgraced. I have no choice. I'll go back to that town again and work even harder. And this time, in 6 months, he made exactly the same amount. Wealth, phenomenal. This time, I won't stop on the way. I will make sure I get there without stopping. So he went, determined that by the arrangement of Providence, somehow or another, he got very close, but I'll just sit down for a few seconds, just to get my breath back. And when he sat down, he suddenly, he dozed off. And those same two guys were there again. Same thing. And they snapped out of it quick. Looked in the boxes, nothing there. Hell. So then he looked around, he found some rope. He went and tied it on a branch. Put it around his neck. And just at the moment, Providence came. Oh my God, I can't even hang myself. That guy's come again. What's going on here? Providence said, "So Malika, what do you want?"